NHL playoff picks and predictions for Wednesday, April 22nd. Welcome on in, guys. It's PuckTime, WagerTalk TV. We've got some picks for you guys, and it is myself, Andrew McInnis, Carmine Bianco, and look forward to breaking things down. I will tell you what, I don't know what I would be doing without coffee this morning because 3 a.m. local time for me last night, or early this morning, I should say. Montreal game goes to overtime. Colorado game goes to overtime. These overtimes are going to drive me crazy, but we have been treated to some fantastic hockey. You know, even though LA goes down 0-2, they're playing their hearts out. Montreal, you guys know I wasn't happy with that one. Personal note, we go 2-0 in the NHL last night, and both the plays were prop bets, including the player prop we gave you with the segment yesterday, Anton Forsberg over on his saves. So nice to cash those tickets. And Carm, it was a wild night last night in the NHL. How was your night, man?
Yeah, I barely made it through the final game, but I wanted to see if LA could pull off the upset. I might be having an audio issue.
You're good. We had you, Karma. We might have lost you. We might have lost you after you said you're having an issue there. So, but yeah, guys, obviously the Avalanche go up 2-0 in their series, but both games with the exact same score line of 2-1. And LA actually takes the 1-0 lead. Colorado, of course, they answer. And then the game winner in overtime for the Avalanche. The Boston Bruins, they get the job done. They tie the series up at 1 game apiece as we head back to TD Garden now. And you know what? I went into that series planning to bet Boston to at least get the split in Buffalo. I abandoned my plan because after they blew the lead in game 1, I kind of lost faith that they were going to win game 2. So the route that I ended up going down was taking the over 25.5 saves for Jeremy Swayman. What an effort it was for Jeremy Swayman last night. A brick wall, a phenomenal goaltending effort, and a rather low-scoring game in Buffalo. So, Carm, we're going to really find out what type of home ice advantage some of these teams have that were the underdogs when they go back home. But yeah, very much looking forward to those games coming up, man. And I'll tell you what, I love the way it always works out, and we're very treated, but it feels like every single night there's, a different set of amazing games we get to watch.
No, it's been good for the most part. There haven't been any duds per se, right? There's been some blown leads. There's been some OT. How can you not enjoy it? It's fantastic. So it's the opening round of the NHL playoffs. The Sabres yesterday, Andrew put in a similar effort to game 1, where they just let the Bruins dictate what pace that game was going to be played at for the first 30, 40 minutes. And then after that, the Sabres kind of picked it up a little bit in the third period, but you're not going to win games unless you're playing minimum 60 minutes of strong hockey. The Bruins are doing it. The Sabres aren't. And yet the Sabres, when we'll talk about series prices, are still favored in this series, even though they don't have home ice anymore. Andrew, Utah, Brian and I both liked Utah to get it done yesterday against Vegas. I kind of wish I had not just bet on it, but released it as a play. But with that said, Andrew, your Montreal Canadiens looked very good. They put in a complete effort once again against Tampa Bay. And game 3, I will have the game 3 stats for you guys before tomorrow's show. But game 3s are normally monster games in series that are tied 1-1. That I think the game 3 winner goes on to win it something like close to 70% of the time. I could be wrong. Somebody will correct me if I am, Andrew. But with that said, 3 games today, man. And this is where we start talking about these game 3s, Andrew. Because right out of the hopper, who do we have? It is the Battle of Pennsylvania. And you look at this one, Andrew, the Flyers, -120, coming home having won 2 games in in Pittsburgh, and pretty much keeping the Penguins at bay completely, shutting them down. And they're only minus 120 at home. Is that because this is the do or die situation for the Pittsburgh Penguins? Lose this one and you're done in the series. I think only between 4 and 7 teams have ever come back from a 3-0 or 3-0 deficit. Where do you go on this one?
I completely agree with you that, the line being set the way it is, you'd think just the way the series has gone so far, there would have been a little bit more respect given towards the Philadelphia Flyers, given the dominance we've seen from them so far. But we know how difficult it is to come back when you go down 0-3, Carm. It's just so difficult. So this game is the do or die game for the Pittsburgh Penguins from the way I'm sitting. And that has to be a factor in the contest. The funny thing is I kept on saying I wasn't going to keep mentioning it, but the longer we see a low scoring game, the more it's just going to benefit the Philadelphia Flyers. And we talked about this a little bit on the show yesterday, but a lot of people forget about the great defensive forwards that the Philadelphia Flyers have. A lot of guys that are really responsible. Then you've got Porter Martone that are just, a young kid that just came into the league recently playing extremely well. Trevor Zegras and those guys, Owen Tippett, Drysdale, these guys are doing what they do. But the one thing I'm going to say, and Carm, when we thought about this series, we thought a lot about experience versus inexperience. So here's the case I'm going to make for the Pittsburgh Penguins here. And the case is that I always say that there's certain arenas and certain teams that I care a lot about home ice advantage for. But if you're talking about guys that have pretty much been in the league for 20 plus years, I don't think those guys specifically are intimidated by an away crowd. Maybe not getting the last change impacts them, but I don't think a road game, a home game, a game on Mars, a game on the moon, I don't think it matters to them where they're playing their game. So I feel like that could benefit the Pittsburgh Penguins. But one thing I'm going to say is that right now we are currently seeing the coaching battle being won by the Philadelphia Flyers. Head coach Dan Muse is losing the coaching battle. So especially when we go on the road, I'm very interested to see how the Pittsburgh Penguins shake up their line combos and shake up their lineups, because either you have to stack the Crosby line and put Gino and Crosby together, or you have to really spread everybody out throughout the lineup so every single line has a dangerous player on the lineup. But Carm, look, this is one of those games where people aren't going to realize Stuart Skinner is playing well. Right now, the playoff leaders in this whole playoffs are Dan Vladar, 1.78 expected, 3.33 goals saved above expected. Stuart Skinner, 2.5 goals saved above expected per 60. The next closest is Jesper Wallstedt with 1.56 per 60. You know who the next one is after that? Today, Jake Ottinger is minus 3.4. So Stuart Skinner has not been bad. He has not been the problem. I think that this team has the offensive ability to turn things around. But once again, Carm, the same way I did 2 days ago, and I got the push, which nobody likes a push, but it's better than a loss. I think you have to go first period here. You have to, even though it's Philadelphia's home game, because if Pittsburgh doesn't win the first period or they go down in the first period, they're not winning the game. The first team that scores this game is winning the game.
Okay, that's a cool statement. No, I get it. I get where you're coming from. I don't believe. I think Philadelphia could at home could fall behind a goal and come back and win. They've shown over 120 minutes of play right now, Andrew, how dominant they can be, and they have. And you look at even like a guy like, man, that call, whoever made that call, that they're eliminated from the Frozen Four, Porter Martone, Martone, call him up, bring him up or whatever. The guy's scoring goals. Andrew, he has points I'm seeing in pretty much every single, what are we talking here? 8 straight games with a point, a goal scored in 4 of his last 5 games, or 5 of his last 6 games. He's plus 195 to score tonight. Porter Martone. That's where we got to put your money on tonight. Lay it on this guy. He's going to score tonight, Andrew. A goal in the 3-0 win, a goal in the 3-2 win, a goal and assist against the Montreal Canadiens in what was an important game at the time, an assist against Carolina, another very good team, a goal in a 7-1 win over Winnipeg. These are all teams that were trying to make the playoffs. And the same thing against the Detroit Red Wings. Maybe this Porter Martone can actually play hockey.
Yeah, I think a big factor of these guys that finish college and then they go up to the NHL, Carm, people might be shocked to hear this, but it's kind of like Trey, let's pick up. I'm going to go World Series with you, or Blue Jays here for a second. Trey Savage last year for the Blue Jays. No batter in the MLB had ever seen him before. You don't know what his pitches look like. They don't know how he throws. None of these goalies have ever seen Porter Martone. None of these defensemen for Pittsburgh have ever seen Porter Martone. So it's like you have that surprise factor of nobody knows me. I'm playing with house money, and I'm just a young guy that's going to, shock the world. So he's been fantastic. I even think about, the Canadians when they went on that bubble run in 2021. That was Cole Caulfield's debut. He scored against the Maple Leafs. He scored against the Vegas Golden Knights. These guys that graduate college, it's huge for them. But you know what's funny is that I talk about the veterans for Pittsburgh that aren't going to be afraid of the moment. But you know who's not been very good so far? Chris Letang, Erik Karlsson. The veteran defensemen have been the guys making the mistakes for Pittsburgh. Yeah. So look, Carm, we've got obviously shaded towards the over here. We've seen 2 straight low-scoring games involving this one. Dan Vladar has been an all-star, but also this Pittsburgh team hasn't even been able to get shots off by any means. So, I mean, based on pure data, we would be kind of remiss to just not follow the trend with the under within this series. But I'm curious if anything changes. I always use the soccer references with you, and you probably laugh when I do, but team down 2-0. Do you think they have to open things up now, sacrifice some defense for offense? What are we going to see Pittsburgh do? Because when it comes down to it, they got to score some goals. Maybe we see the ice open up a little bit. Yeah,
it's a crucial game because this is Andrew. This is the one, guys. If the game is close in the third period, Sidney Crosby's going to get double shifted. That Letang, Rust, Evgeny Malkin, they're all going to get double shifted. And if they still can't win the game, I'm just saying, all hypotheticals, the series is effectively over. There is no handshake series. It's over in 4. It doesn't even go back. It doesn't even go back to Pittsburgh if they're down 3-0 at the end of this one. And the Flyers get some much deserved rest, but they've been the better team. I just find it hard. I need concrete evidence, numbers from and past data to make me want to bet on the Pittsburgh Penguins. When a team loses the first 2 games at home and they weren't lucky losses or unlucky losses, they were just flat out played and ran into a very good goalie. Even if your own goalie's not making mistakes, if they're not, Vladar's in their head right now, and you wouldn't think it. Guys like Malkin and Crosby have faced the best goalies in the NHL over the years, but they can't solve this guy. So if I can't find data that makes me want to take Pittsburgh other than, well, they don't want to go down 3-0 in the series. Well, I don't think they wanted to go down 2-0 in the series either. And that happened, right? So the must
I'll
wins
rebuttal you on that, though, Carm.
aren't must bets. Yeah,
I'll rebuttal you
man.
on that.
Bring it.
The Minnesota Wild absolutely dummied the Dallas Stars in game 1. If we were banking our pick in game 2 of that series on game 1, then we would just take Minnesota to win again, right?
No.
Because they got
Incorrect.
Absolutely dominated. Minnesota
Incorrect.
dominated
to be able to do something over one game is exceptional, and a lot of teams play eyeballs out for one game. To be able to do it to the same team on their home ice after they have the game tape of game 1 and saw how they slowed you down and they did it to you again, what's to say that all of a sudden the Pittsburgh Penguins have solved what the magic that the Philadelphia Flyers are producing on the ice? No, to me,
I agree.
There has to be something more credible. One game doesn't make it for me. You know what I mean? When I was on WagerTalk last call on the weekend, I said, I hope that Dallas wins game 1 so I can bet Minnesota in game 2, because the series is going to be 1-1 at the end of 2. This is going to be a series that they're going to Minnesota and they're going to split it. So I'm going to look at, if I don't take game 3 tonight, whoever loses tonight, I am going to take in game 4, because I see this series going 6 games, 7 games. So it stands to reason that if this is going to be one of those zigzag ones, it's not why I'm betting it. It's because my feel coming in to that series is it's going to be a very long series. I thought this one might. I'm completely wrong. The Flyers should effectively end it for Pittsburgh tonight. Sorry, lost kid.
I'm gonna go on record, Carm, and I'll say I'll go head to head with you. Whoever wins this game wins game 4.
No.
You said it yourself. There would be no gentleman's sweep. It would be a sweep if Philadelphia wins this one. So if that's the case, I'm going to say it's the same thing for Pittsburgh. If they win tonight, they win game 4. If Philadelphia wins tonight, they get the sweep. I think regardless of whoever wins tonight, and you look at this number, minus 120, up 2-0, you regain home ice, and the books are throwing out a minus 120. Tell me that they're not begging everybody in the world to take the Philadelphia Flyers tonight. Why is this number only minus 120 when they have looked better than anybody else on the ice?
It's Andrew. They can't make it any higher. You can't make Pittsburgh plus money after you've made them back-to-back minus 150 and minus 160 favorites. Right. You don't suddenly flip it and make them plus money on the road. It's a rivalry. It's a hated rivalry. These teams don't like each other. I think Pittsburgh needs to get back to trying to play hockey and trying to score goals. As a part, there are some teams that are unhinged right now. The Bruins did it to the Sabres. A little bit of it happened in Tampa Bay last night as well too, with penalties. The refs are calling it right, and they're doing the right things, which I'll give them respect, because they should be able to do this 82 games a season for teams. And that is this. If you're unsure on whether it's a penalty or not, call the 5-minute major. It's instantly reviewable, and then you can wipe out the penalty. And that's just another way of getting around all penalties can be reviewed. Nobody hates to review until it works against you and gives the other team a power play with 2 minutes left in the game, and they score and you lose. And all of a sudden you're like, why couldn't they review that? So the ebbs and flows of VAR, as I call it, Andrew, it's going to be happening a lot in North America this summer during the World Cup. So we shall see. But Andrew, speaking of the World Cup in the USA, which is all stars and stripes, let's talk stars and wild, my friend. And there you go. The Wild, one good game, one bad game, minus 132, plus 109 on the Dallas Stars. Andrew, if you saw a $10 bill on the ground, would you pick it up?
Of course.
All right. What if you saw a $9 bill? Because that's the profit on taking the Dallas Stars in a spot that I think is fantastic for them tonight. I don't feel like this will be like the zigzag one, but I just think they're going to trade victories. And I think when a very good team loses home ice, they go right back and get it as quickly as they can. They don't want to be down 2-1 in this series. They don't want to be at 1-1, but I have to believe those Stars are going to build off that momentum and win this game. And I'm taking any plus money I can get at any of my books right now. So just been kind of, while you're talking, I'm plugging away, taking plus 106, plus 104. Go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. I'm curious about the updated information regarding Zuccarello because I don't know if they're going to have him on Minnesota here. Yakov Trenin took an absolutely insane hit in game 2. Bobby Brink looking like he's hurt. So, Zuccarello, obviously a fantastic player. The other two guys I mentioned are more like plug-in role players, but it all still adds up, Carm. You got to be able to stay healthy. And, I think it's important for a team not to give another team bulletin board material, Carm. And Nick Foligno or Marcus Foligno said, I think we skate all over them 5-on-5. I think we're way better than them 5-on-5. He pretty much said that Dallas is only good because of their power play. And then they go out and lose the next game. It's like, dude, you won game 1. You can't be talking shit after one game and then you lose game 2. He's like, yeah, this team's not even that good. We're way better than them, which I thought was a little bit peculiar. The only thing I'm going to say in this one is that in game 2, I took under 2.5 goals for the Minnesota Wild. I banked on a bounce back for Ottinger. I banked on a bounce back defensive effort when it came to this Dallas Stars team, and that came through. They got 2 goals, Minnesota, but that was it for them. When it comes to this one, I think we actually might see an over 5.5. So if you can get it, I would jump in. I think Dallas scores. I think things open up a little bit. I think Dallas is deeper than people give them credit for. I think they can trade goals. And as I mentioned, we saw Dallas kind of get lit up with goals in game 1. And Dallas responded and said, hey, we can win with a defensive effort. So now I'm curious if Dallas can win with a high scoring effort. So I'll be involved in some player props with this game, but I'm curious if you can get, over 5.5 here, over 3.5 for Dallas, a little bit of money line for Dallas. I think that's the move. And I know we hate to use this word or this expression, Carm, but if there's any series right now, maybe besides the Tampa Bay Montreal series that we could expect a zigzag from, this might be the series.
Yeah, it's just going to be a different kind of zig and zag, but I get where you're coming from. I just think it's going to go, 1-1, and it's going to be 2-2, and then 3-2. Possibly it ends there at 4-2, or we see a game 7. Game 7 between these two teams will be absolutely phenomenal because these are teams that you would love to see in OT, kind of like the golden goal. Jack Hughes, you know what I mean, for Team USA, or Sidney Crosby, golden goal, or Mario Lemieux, golden goal. I miss those days, man. So we get to see it. So we shall see. We need a game 7.
Yeah.
Triple OT. That's like on a Friday night, so we don't have to do a show on the Saturday.
But
unless you're gallivanting throughout Europe. But for me, Andrew,
ski, man, ski in the chat with us.
Ski, I love Ski, man. I got Ski should be coming to Toronto. I don't understand why he doesn't come visit us in Toronto, man. Brian Leonard's coming. He arrives tomorrow. So
he doesn't like the cold weather, man. We got to get Ski in like July or August. He's not coming here if it's cold.
Yeah. Ski, let me know who's going to win the Raptors Cleveland game on Thursday. We need a winner now. I'm going to be watching that game with Brian. Brian's a Cleveland guy. I'm a Toronto guy, other than the Leafs. So we shall see.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew, The series price on this one, let's look at the series price before we get to Edmonton and Anaheim. Dallas minus 120 now, and Minnesota is at even money. So Minnesota gets the split on the road, but they are essentially still a coin flip underdog, minus 120. I think all the value is in the line on Dallas, minus 120. What do you think?
I agree with you. I think that what I really do regret is not jumping in on Dallas after game one. That's what I regret. Yeah. I mean, it was right there for us. I did make money, fading them and fading Minnesota game two. But, I think the value's here on Dallas. And I think, unfortunately, injuries play a role in the playoffs. And that Zuccarello injury is more impactful than people think it's going to be for them. And we're going to find out because, like I said, there's two teams right now where I'm kind of getting that last dance vibe. And in the East, it was Pittsburgh. And in the West, it's Dallas. And obviously, Dallas is a much better team than Pittsburgh. But Dallas has all those vets. And for all those vets to lose game one and then come back in game two and play the way they did, I'm curious if they can do it again. So, Carm, the further the series goes on, the more experience matters, I would say here. And also, Jesper Wallstedt, I mentioned that he's been, playing pretty well here.
He's confirmed for tonight.
Can Jake Ottinger outduel him? And again, if the more the series goes on, who do you feel more comfortable with, Jake Ottinger or Jesper Wallstedt? We'll find out.
Yeah, Andrew, that's the thing. Listen, I'm not comparing this year's Minnesota to like last year's Minnesota, but round one last year, I believe after the first two games in, I think it was in Minnesota, they lost the series to Vegas. So the first two games they split, some higher scoring games, and then the better defensive team won, which was Vegas at that time. And Vegas goes on to win that game. I think they won 3 straight in that series. So they won it 4 games to 2, Andrew. But they allowed Minnesota, I think, 6 goals in the last 3 games combined. They were all like 3-2, 3-2, 4-1, 4-2 type results. So I think Dallas is the same type of team. Dallas, when they want to play strong, solid defense, can put in the effort. They did it in game 2. I think they do it in game 3, Andrew.
I'm looking forward to that one. Like I said, man, one night I'm stressing because of my team and watching the Montreal Canadiens. And of course, we got a great Buffalo and Boston series. We've got the night games as well. And then all of a sudden we've got some unbelievable, I can't really decide which night I think is better. And to be honest, if it wasn't for me being a Canadiens fan, this night might actually get the edge as far as the scheduling is concerned. But look, we saw how Minnesota won game 1. Carm, I made the joke to you earlier when I was rebuttaling, saying, hey, look, the score of a game shouldn't matter too much in the postseason. But do you think we see another game that is so dominant? Because obviously the score really doesn't matter from one game to the next. But it's I don't know. I'm a little bit. I'd be hard to believe seeing a game that's so lopsided like we saw in game 1. And if we do, I think Dallas is the one that gets their vengeance. So look forward to that. Also, look forward to seeing what Minnesota can be like at home with the last change. Because let's not forget, Dallas had that higher seed. So, Carm, I bet you a pineapple pizza Wildwood.
I hope you enjoy it. I will not eat pineapple on pizza, but that's just me. But nor will I even get involved in a wager that involves a pineapple pizza. I'd be wanting to lose that bet. So with that said, Andrew, the Oilers minus 189, Ducks plus 154. A close one in game 1. We've talked about how the Oilers early on in the opening round of series the last few years, but it's been against the LA Kings, have started a little slow. They get the victory in this one. They could pretty much put their necks on the throats of the Ducks right now if they were to take a 2-0 lead in this series, minus 189. How are you playing this?
Yeah, this to me, Carm, is simple, and as the fact that That game one was the game that Anaheim had to steal. That was the game that Anaheim, not only tied it up, they took the lead in, and then all of a sudden the Oilers do what they do. Nobody was worried. Nobody was even questioning whether they were going to tie things up. They tie it up, and then they end up taking the lead. And Prez wins his regulation bet with 2 minutes to go in the game. I'm sure he was jumping for joy. And you look at the numbers here. This Oilers team, just through the first couple games, or through the first game here, created a ton of chances. But most importantly, it was their first win all season long where Connor McDavid did not get one single point. I mean, the fact that Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, both of them didn't score, not just one of them, both of them didn't score. It's a huge sign for the Edmonton Oilers. And I cannot hype this up anymore, how important that is for them, because if you're Connor McDavid and your team puts up a handful of goals on the board, if I had a team total in that game and I saw those two guys didn't score, I would have thought that I lost the bet, right? So when I look at this one, I feel like it's going to be an even sharper effort from the Edmonton Oilers. So, Carm, I don't think this is going to be the zigzag here. I am betting Edmonton minus a half goal to win the first period here. The fact that McDavid's team goes up 1-0 in the series and it was kind of a quiet night for the captain, I think it bodes very well for the Oilers.
I think you're absolutely correct, Andrew. I was going to wait until I record that other video after this one, but I'm just going to give you guys a preview of that video. And for those of you in the chat that are south of the border, I apologize for this, but here we go. The Stanley Cup is returning to Canada, and it's going to come. It returns to Canada every year because 76% of the players on every roster, playoff roster, is normally Canadian. The US with about 20, and then Europe. The rest, the Vegas Golden Knights, when they won their cup, had 20 of their 25 players were Canadian on that team. You can look it up. But with that said, the Oilers are winning it. Connor Ingram will find a way of backstopping this team, just like Darcy Kempfer did it for the Colorado Avalanche. Stars with a goalie who does just enough to get the victory. The Cup is returning to Canada, and it's ending up in Edmonton. So you heard it here first, boys. I'm pissing a lot of people off, but that is the play. And if you can still bet the Oilers to win the Cup, you're going to get some very good odds. They will get by the winner of the Vegas LA series, and then they will get by the winner of whoever comes out of the Atlantic. So, Andrew, I think I said that nicely. I didn't get too hyper.
Hey, I released it 13-1, baby. 13-1. I'm on board. All aboard the Edmonton train. I'm there. Guess what? The Florida Panthers aren't there anymore to beat them. The Panthers aren't even here.
Yeah. No, listen, it's a season, like I keep saying it, a season like no other. I'm going to make that into a song for our intro. But if there was ever a time or a situation where they could prosper, this is it. Ingram's never been part of the whole Edmonton, oh my God, terrible goaltending or subpar goaltending in the playoffs. He's never been part of that culture. He's his own goalie. So we'll see how he does with the Edmonton Oilers. But obviously winning the first one is only a confidence builder. Win this one as well, too. Boom. You got a goalie who's feeling good about the team in front of them. And we know the Oilers can score goals. Teams that could have given the Oilers issues are out of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference. And we know who that is. But Andrew, in the Western Conference, they should get by the Ducks in 5 games, I think. I don't see it going 6 or 7. The Utah and Vegas one is a wide open series. I said it at the beginning, and I'll say it again. They're tied at 1, going back to Utah. And that series is going to go 6, maybe 7. Edmonton gets the winner of that. And then we see what comes out of the other one between Colorado, Minnesota, and Dallas. So I'm rambling on, but this is the year for the Edmonton Oilers.
I'm with you, man. And I'll tell you what, Vegas just lost to Utah. They've looked okay. They haven't looked blown me away by any means. And again, we're going to learn a lot tonight about this team, but I think it is so important that team looked good without McDavid or Draisaitl scoring. So we'll find out what ends up happening there. The Ducks aren't going to go away, but here's the problem. Is when it was a pond hockey game and Anaheim loses, that's not good for them, because I think Edmonton can play low scoring too. So we'll see. I'm very curious how that first period goes. Very curious. Steve says Carolina is just hanging out under the radar. Nothing to see there. Absolutely. It's Carolina's year too, man. No Florida for them to go against. They have to make the finals as well. The pressure is on them too.
Yeah, Andrew, I'm enjoying the playoffs. We're going to have nights where, we go like 1-2 on our bets, 1-3 on our bets. The next night you go like 3-0. There's going to be ebbs and flows in these playoffs. And it's just because this first round, there isn't one series where, other than the Colorado one, where I thought the favorite has a chance to lose in this series. Every other series, I believe the favorite could lose in, including the Edmonton one, because we didn't know what we would get out of an Edmonton first round series against anyone other than LA. Maybe Anaheim were playing lame ducks, pun intended, at the end of the season, and then we're going to surprise the Oilers. So with that said, would you look at the regulation bet in this game, or is this another one that you'd be happy with a bunch of goals and let's get this to overtime?
Yeah, I would be happy with that, Carm. But like I said, I'm going to take the first period here, minus a half goal. You get a good price out of it. The team total, I was shocked, is like minus 150. So the bookmakers are expecting just a ton of goals again. It'd be funny, Carm, if like the Hurricane series, the Buffalo series, the Canadian series, we see all these like low scoring defensive games. And then some people just said, well, the Edmonton series just looked like a regular game. It looked like a regular season game. They just traded goals. They went back and forth and both scored. I'm curious because remember what we always say? Like, it seems like games 1 and game 2, if one game goes over, the next game goes under, or vice versa. But I truly wonder if these teams are even capable of playing an under against each other. If we look on the season, the last 2 times these teams played each other, there was like a combined like 20 goals. Like, I don't know if these teams can play an under. So I'm very, very curious to see that.
It's listen, I get it. Maybe if I pulled the press thing, because I think I did it once too, and it was and the play lost, where I was like, I love this play, and then it lost. So I don't love the play, but I love the fact that the goals are going to come. The thing is, the Oilers played and this is another thing that I like about my position right now, having tickets at multiple books, and Brian Leonard played one for me before he left Vegas from Circa, an additional bet on the Edmonton Oilers. So I'm all in on the Oilers. But Andrew, they played what I thought was a extremely subpar game in which they should have lost, and they didn't. And at some point, the momentum gets in, and you win a second game here. And I'm going to tell you, the Oilers might pick up that momentum. They need to start playing like they did in last year's playoffs and the playoffs before, where they didn't have to win games 6-5. They were winning games 3-2. When they went on that 16-game unbeaten run, and 16 games is what 16 wins is what gets you the Stanley Cup as well too. They're winning games 3-1, 4-1. So they were doing it on both ends of the ice. And when we think the Oilers winning 12 in a row, we're thinking, oh, the over must be 10-2 in those. No, there were distinct numbers favoring the under at the end of the 16 games. But Andrew, you have a player prop for us?
I do. We have just one and done. Sometimes we'll do the same gamers, but you know how it is, Carm. It's the postseason, man. It's hard enough to find a winner. So yesterday We had a winner with the over on saves for Anton Forsberg. We bounced back. I hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys cashed that ticket. I don't know if you saw, Carm, that delay that happened in the Colorado game. Usually you hear about glass bangers where the people bang on the glass. Well, these people were the glass shakers. They were shaking the glass, and the glass fell over onto the bench of the LA team. So that was kind of crazy. But we cashed the over in that one for the save prop. Today, we've got one play and one play only. We are going to Mr. Double R, Ricard Raquel, 3+ shots on goal at plus 105. With Philadelphia getting the last change, we might not see as many shots from Crosby or Gino or Brian Rust. But who's the second line guy? Who's the second line player that will get those shots? Your answer is on the screen. Ricard Raquel at plus 105. Shots on goal play here. Carm, regardless, win or lose for this Penguins team, this is one guy I hope that gets some shots tonight. Let's try and get on a run here with these player props. Here we go.
It's like a train, RR, Andrew, like in Monopoly, get on a run. Ring that bell 3+ times tonight and hit a winner. No pod play because it's only like 3 games. And although I'll be loading some plays, I'm pretty much giving you guys my thoughts on the games. So there will be similar to those. So you may not want to pick up the package if you can figure out and decipher who I like in each and every game. It's like the Matrix, Andrew. They have to find it on their own.
Read between the lines. Read between the lines.
You have to find it yourself. Anyways, guys, a little bit of a mix-up on my part, so I apologize to Don Buster. When I put out the schedule on the weekend, I didn't double-check it, so I listed Brian for both Tuesday and Wednesday when it should have been Brian and then Buster today. But Buster's back in the Great White North. He got back late last night, I think. So he probably needed the morning off to get some sleep and stuff like that. When you're like, getting close to like 80, you relish those longer naps and stuff. Anyways, it's amazing what avocado can do to your skin. The guy doesn't look a day over 60. Andrew, listen, I'm going to let you close it out. I got one play right now. It is in afternoon soccer. It was part of the $5 thing yesterday, but that reverted back to regular pricing at midnight. I have an MLS card for tonight. 3 games I really, really like. That'll be out in about an hour's time, just finishing off the analysis. And then a couple plays likely in the NHL. So one day all access. If you want to pick up everything, you'll see some plays being loaded, including a baseball a total for today. So that's it for me, Andrew. What do you got going? And take us home.
Yeah, one play in NHL so far, but we're going to have the props loaded up once all the books have those consensus numbers. 2-0 yesterday with the props. Small 3-0 run, but it is also a massive run right now with the NHL best bets. I think over 36 units with NHL best bets. These top plays have done extremely well. We do have a 4% play going tonight. Don't miss out on that. And 4% NBA play. Rare for me, 4% NBA play. Grab that, guys, up at WagerTalk.com. Let's cash some tickets. Let's have ourselves a winning night and enjoy the games, guys. Thanks so much for watching us, as always, here on PuckTime. Carmine at WT.buzz/AM or CB, and for me, /AM. Guys, let's try and get this video at least 176 likes. Can we do that? 176 likes? That's a reasonable number. Let's try and get it up there. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.